Brent Council are paying £500 a week rent.
What?
So it's not about saving money, it's about making working class people accept poor housing and lower wages. So what we're saying is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. And this is the start of the protest of thousands of people who are going to be made homeless, like the Counihan family, like Nigel Firminger, who took his own life after his benefits were stopped in Kilburn. So we're asking you to take a leaflet, to support our protest today, and to join the campaign against the bedroom tax, which is going to make thousands of people in this country homeless and going to push lots more people into poverty. So what we're saying is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. So if you can join in with me. All we're saying is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. 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 Yeah, we're here today to protest against this terrible injustice of the bedroom tax. It's not about saving money. If they wanted to save money, why aren't they capping the excessive rents that are charged by the landlords? Housing benefit goes to the landlords. So we're saying cap the rents, not the benefits. And then we're saying can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. So cap the rent, not the benefits. Cap the rents, not the benefits. Cap the rents, not the benefits. Sorry, comrades, look, we're trying to start the protest. I'd really appreciate if people could join in with me, because otherwise it's just me on a megaphone here. So can those people on the protest come and stand here, please, so as we can make some noise. Because otherwise it's just me yakking away on a megaphone, which we don't want that, no. We've got an open mic today, so it's good to see the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group, Brent Back, the Socialist Party, the International Luxembourgist Network are represented here as well today, and of course the Counihan family campaign from Kilburn. We've been working with the campaign since August. The Counihan family were made homeless by Brent Council when they declared £18 a week income. And what we're saying is, we will stay, we will fight, housing is a human right. So, let's try that one. We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
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 Yeah, we say this bedroom tax, which is affecting a third of all tenants in social housing, is an attack on the poor. It's not about saving money. All of the political parties in this country have joined in this attack on the poor. And we're saying this is an injustice. We're asking you to join our protest here today. Leave your details so that we can organise future protests. More and more people are being affected by the bedroom tax. People can't sleep at night worrying about paying their rent, paying their benefit. They can't heat their houses. This attack on the poor is joined by all of the political parties. And that's why we say, Labour, Tory, all the same, they all play the bankers' game. Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same. Yes, we want a clear message to go out today that we're not going to accept these attacks on the poor. It's not about saving money. If it was about saving money, they'd be capping the rents on social and private housing. And they're not going to do that because they sold off council housing, the right to buy scheme, A third of those houses are now being rented out by private landlords, including Ian Gale's son, who was one of the Tory ministers during Thatcher's time. So it's not about saving money, it's about the political parties attacking working class people and forcing us to accept poorer housing, lower wages, forcing us to pay for the crisis. And what we say is, can't pay, won't pay,
Axe the bedroom
axe the
tax.
bedroom tax. Thank you, my friend. Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
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 We've got another chant, which is we want a message to all of the political leaders. I think I see Artie from Southwark joining us. Hi Artie, you're very, very welcome. It's great to see the other groups. We've got an open mic here today, so anyone wants to speak, please let me know. But our message to the political parties is that we're not going to accept these attacks on the floor. Families like the Counihans in Kilburn have made a brave stand against evictions and against cuts, and are supporting others in that fight against the bedroom tax. We need more people to join us in the campaign. We've made a start. We had a march here last week with a few hundred people, but we need a lot more local campaigns. There have been big campaigns in Scotland and in the north of England. We need a lot more here in London. So hopefully today is a start. Make sure that you leave your details with us and join us for future protests and future events. I'd like to call on anyone who would like to speak or give a message to come and give me a shout, come and speak on the megaphone. And we have another chant that we sing. We want a message to the political parties. We're not going to stand for this attack on the floor. And what we say is that this is what democracy looks like. So if I ask the question, what does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what
Democracy looks like.
Yeah, so we've got a message for the politicians with their bedroom tax, which is designed to force working class people to pay for the crisis of the bankers and their friends in government. What we're saying is can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
This protest has been called by the Counihan Sanchez campaign from Kilburn. The Counihan Sanchez family were made homeless after they declared £18 a week income, and they've been launching a public fight against cuts and evictions in Brent. And they've already won a victory of having their housing benefit restored, but there's much more to do, and the family have been supporting others who are fighting evictions and cuts in Brent. Great to see people from other organisations here today. My organisation is Fight Racism, Fight Imperialism. Our newspaper says smash the bedroom tax. Make sure you get a copy of that. I can also see comrades from the Socialist and Tusk, if anyone wants to speak on the megaphone. We've got the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group who worked with us closely. I can see Artie from Southwark. Hopefully she's going to come and give us a message shortly. Very nice to see you. You're very welcome. And also Adriana, who was due to be evicted from Harrow a week or two ago, is hoping to join us later today. She fought a campaign with the support of the Counihan Sanchez family. She was due to be made homeless by Harrow Council, and she has now secured proper, decent housing with the support of the campaign. So the message is that these aren't just Tory cuts. We've got a Tory and a Liberal government bringing in these attacks on the poor, but unfortunately all the local councils, whether Tory, Liberal or Labour, are all enthusiastically supporting these cuts. So in Brent, we've got a Labour council which is imposing £141 million worth of cuts, and they've said they're going to evict anyone who falls into arrears from the bedroom tax. And what we say is we want to support anyone who refuses to pay the bedroom tax. We're going to make sure they don't stand alone, and we want a strong nationwide campaign of non-payment similar to the poll tax, and we're not going to spare any of these people who are involved in imposing cuts. We say no cuts in Brent, no cuts at all. We say housing for the Counihans, housing for all. So let's give a message to David Cameron in Downing Street about the bedroom tax. It's a shameless attack on the poor, and many hundreds of people are going to be made homeless in this country, and people like Nigel Farminger will die in poverty. Nigel died when they stopped his benefits. He died a year ago, and we had a protest in memory of Nigel in the week, supported by the Counihan campaign and the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group. So what we're saying is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
You keep watching.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Okay, I'd like anyone from other groups to come up. Anyone who wants to speak on the megaphone. Perhaps Ted might like to say a word about Milton Keynes and what's happening there. Please give a welcome to Ted, who supported the Counihan Sanchez campaign and has come all the way from Milton Keynes today. Welcome, Ted.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, my son and I are here today in support of the Counihan Sanchez campaign that's extremely important in raising consciousness against the government cuts in London, but in other areas as well. In Milton Keynes at the moment, there are going to be 2,000 people, two-thirds of whom are disabled, in Milton Keynes, who will be suffering from the bedroom tax. And also, just this week, it's been announced that the richest borough in the country, and one of the richest in the world, what's it called?
Westminster.
Oh yeah, Westminster. Westminster Council have taken over housing in Milton Keynes to send people, as part of this social cleansing that we've already seen in North London, to send people that they don't want to be housed in Westminster to Milton Keynes, and they've procured housing in the Lakes Estate in Milton Keynes, which is one of the poorest estates in the city. And in fact, 41% of children on the Lakes Estate, where Westminster Council is sending people, are in poverty officially. So the disgusting split between the rich and the poor goes on, and it's not getting any better, it's just getting worse day by day. We must stand together and do something about this. Don't allow the local councils like Brent and Milton Keynes and so on and Westminster, keep forgetting that name, it's something that gets stuck in my throat when I say it. Don't let them rule the roost when it comes to social housing. We must demand bigger and better social housing and an end to the cuts which are putting people on the streets. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ted. We've got an open mic today. Thank you, Ted, from Milton Keynes, for that message about the social cleansing that's going on. In the case of the Counihans, when they declared £18 a week income from Brent Council, they were told by Brent Housing that they could go and live in an empty field in the west of Ireland, put a caravan on it, they said. You know, this is the contempt that people, working class people, are being treated with, and we're dealing with social cleansing. The local MP, Glenda Jackson, so that's a Labour council, and then we've got a Labour MP, Glenda Jackson, told the family, who were born and bred in Kilburn, that they should go to Wales because it'd be cheaper to live there. So this is what's happening to working class people in the City of London under these bedroom tax and these benefit cuts.
And there aren't any jobs in Wales, are there?
And there aren't, yeah. I mean, what jobs are they going to find there that have no contacts, they wouldn't know anyone? So it's a recipe for disaster. So what we're saying is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay.
Axe the bedroom tax.
Yeah, so what we need from here on is a militant campaign of opposition to the bedroom tax. We want to support anyone who can't afford to pay, or doesn't want to pay. We want to make sure those people are not on their own. And we need a campaign like there was with the poll tax, which forced the government to scrap it. And we also need to force local councils not to evict people, not to accept this attack on the poor. All of the political parties are all participating in these attacks on working class people. And what we need are families like the Counihans and others who are affected by the cuts to join in a campaign of resistance. And it starts now. More and more people are being affected, and we need to get organised and to mount a nationwide campaign of non-payment and resistance to this wicked tax, which is an attack on the poor, an attack on those on low incomes, like the Counihans. Anthony's a bus driver, but the family are living in temporary accommodation, and Brent Council are paying £500 a week. So they're not capping the rents, they're capping the benefits. So we're pleased to see supporters here today. We've got an open mic if anyone wishes to give a message on the megaphone, show your support for the campaign. There is a contact board going around. I can just see Saskia with it. You can see if I can derive a pen. I've been that one because it's never going to. There you go.
I guess just remember that, what was that? Was it Osborne actually pointed out that the 50p tax rate only raised 1 billion. That's why they slashed it. They abolished it, but then they decided on the bedroom tax, which will supposedly raise 453 million. So you have to actually wonder about the
where the priorities are.
Well, the logic of it, really.
Yeah, because we've got, as the comrade here has pointed out, we've got millionaires who are being given a tax break of £100,000, and then we've got families like the Counihans who have been thrown out on the street. So it shows the priorities of this government and of all the political parties in this country. So we need to organise against the Conservative and Liberal government and get them to overturn this bedroom tax and these benefit cuts. But we also need action from the Labour Party, because they have participated in these attacks on the working class. They've said they will keep the bedroom tax if they get into power. So we can't have any false promises from the Labour Party. We need the people who are affected to get organised. So please leave your details. Saskia's here in red. She's got a contact board. Please leave your name, and we want to organise future events, because we need to have regular protests about the bedroom tax, and the people who are going to be affected will need to lead that battle.
We've got information about the campaign, different from the UK and
Costing more, just the money will go to us. And yeah, exactly. I mean, they're doing things. They're doing really silly things, like 12 fire stations are going to be closed in London. And they have pointed out you're going to need them at some point. What if there was another emergency, like the 7/7 bombings, or another rail crash? You're going to need those fire stations, but they won't do it. It's and then they did point out as well that if you sell those 12 fire stations, what will happen? You're not going to be able to buy them again, because there's going to be land value would actually be too exorbitant. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us. We're outside. We're in Whitehall at the moment, Southwest 1, just opposite Downing Street. You have to actually wonder. Margaret Thatcher was the one who brought in the gates to Downing Street, and then more than 30 years later, we still have the gates. It's been pointed out that it originally... Oh, yes, come on, please.
unlawful and unjust cuts that are being made in this country. The housing that's not beneficial to any of us, and that we can't afford to live in. We're here to say no to the bedroom tax, and to show that it's completely unjust. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
No justice! justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask
the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
We will stay, we will fight! We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right!
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right!
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right!
We will stay, we
Okay,
will
okay.
fight!
Housing is a human right!
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like!
Can't pay, won't pay! Ask the bedroom tax! Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax.
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all play the bankers game!
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all pay the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all pay the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all pay the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all pay the banksters game.
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask
the
the
bedroom
bedroom
tax.
tax!
Okay.
No justice!
No
peace! No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
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 Labour, Tory, all the same!
They
all play the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all play the bankers' game!
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all play the bankers' game!
Labour, Tory, all the same!
They all pay the bankers' game.
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask the bedroom tax!
Can't pay, won't pay!
Ask
The bedroom tax.
Housing is a human right. We will stay, we will fight. Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight!
Housing is a human right.
Hi guys, for those just joining us, we're just outside the opposite Downing Street, which is actually across the way. You might know that nowadays in Britain, if you want to protest, you need to have permission, you need to have a permit, you need to have papers in order to actually have a little protest, which is actually a lot of people find surprising, especially with people across the pond in the United States, and actually people who have never actually gone on a protest. They find out that they didn't realize that they need to have a permit in order to actually participate. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, I'm not going to dwell on that. So we're going to have an open speak out on the megaphone, so that means anyone who's against the cuts, who's against the bedroom tax, can come up, speak on the megaphone, and hopefully we'll get the message out to David Cameron and the other crooks in Downing Street, but also to the general public, because we all need to get together, get angry, but not just get angry, but get organised, because there is a massive attack on the living standards of ordinary people in this country that is being orchestrated from Downing Street, but it's being passed down through local councils across the country, and that includes Labour councils up and down the country that have implemented the cuts that are being passed down from the government. And one of the things the Counihan campaign has been saying is that it's not good enough for councillors and local MPs of whatever party to just wring their hands and say, we're sorry, we have to make these cuts. It's not good enough for councils like Camden Council, where I live, where they're shipping people off to Birmingham because they can't house people inside Camden. They've started to buy up properties, rent properties in Birmingham so that they can send people up there. So they're splitting up communities and pushing people away from the places where they grew up, all because of the capitalist crisis. It's very important to bear that in mind, that all of these savings and so-called efficiencies that are being made, whether it's in housing or in the health system, the way that they present them is in a rational way, the way that you hear it in the media and from the politicians, as if these are rational savings. They're not rational at all, because we live in a completely irrational system, the system of capitalism, which is now breaking down, and the profits aren't rolling into the British banks anymore, and so the first people who are getting targeted are the poor, and we can see that whether it's George Osborne trying to make cheap political points about the welfare system, or whether it's Labour Party politicians who are going along with the cuts, we have to say, no, we're not going to take this, because actually we are the people that make the wealth in this country, and so therefore the country should be run in the interests of ordinary people. And so if the rents in London are so high as they are, if people can't afford to pay their rents on a working wage, then there should be provision for those people, and we demand no cuts, full stop. That's the position. And if we have any other position, if we say, oh well, we think these cuts are okay, but those cuts are not okay, or if we start campaigning on just single issue things, saying don't close our local library, don't close our local hospital, but don't make the connection with what is going on across the country, and say we've had enough of this corrupt system. We've had enough of our lives being sacrificed in the interests of profit and capital. If we don't make those links, then we're going to lose the fight before we've even begun. So that's why we say no cuts, full stop. And that's why the Counihan campaign has been uncompromising in not just defending the rights of families like the Counihans who faced an end to their housing benefit in Kilburn, but actually broadening it out and getting involved in other campaigns and showing solidarity with people who are facing the bedroom tax. Now, families are going to be made homeless through the bedroom tax. If you don't know the details of the bedroom tax, I'll just give you a couple of details about the bedroom tax. If they can show that you are so-called under-occupying your house, then they're going to cut your housing benefit by 14%. And if you have what they determine as 2 bedrooms free, they're going to cut your housing by 25%. And this is for families that are already living on the breadline. If you have trouble believing that, then just think to yourself what it would be like to live in this country on £53 a week, which is the weekly amount that you get on the dole in this country. Yeah, we had Ian Duncan Smith the other day saying that he could live on £53 a week. Well, it's all very well for him to say that when he's got not just a spare bedroom, but a spare mansion. It's all very well for him to say that when he's got his MP's expenses, which by the way are on the increase. It's all very well for him to say that when he's on an MP's salary, which by the way went up this year. Whereas the rest of us are facing austerity and cuts and a ruthless assault on our standard of living.
Too many foreigners!
Excuse me, sir, too many foreigners? I don't think that is the problem with this country. The problem with this country is how resources are allocated. The problem with this country is that the rich are attacking the poor and trying to resolve the country's crisis.
Yo, are you part of the English disco, please?
You think that it's quite an interesting point that you're making. It's a completely reactionary point, but in response to that point, we should point out that people who come to this country from all over the world, they have British companies inside their countries that they come from, exploiting the people and resources in those countries. So if you're going to start making points like that, you should think about what Britain is up to all around the world with its imperialist system, sucking profits from countries around the world. Anyway, back to the bedroom tax. This is an open microphone, and I'd like to invite anyone else from the campaign to come and speak.
Hi guys, so we had one idiot Daily Mail
I'm very pleased to
reader.
say today that we've got two families here today at least, and maybe more. Two families who've stood against the cuts, two families who've been threatened with homelessness, and they've managed to win victories. So the Counihan family, despite their recent bereavement, are represented here today, and we're very glad to have them with us, but understandably Sarah doesn't want to speak on the megaphone. But the Counihan family, because it made a public fight, it forced Brent Council to reinstate housing benefit. And we've also got Adriana and Yasmin here from Harrow. They were threatened with eviction very recently. And because
Hello, who's this?
Adriana took a stand, and she had a little bit of support from the Counihan family as well, they've managed to secure much better accommodation in Harrow. So Harrow have now taken some responsibility for the family, and it shows that campaigning does work. So I'm very pleased to welcome Adriana and Yasmin to our protest today, and I'd like Adriana to give us a quick message, unless Yasmin wants to speak as well, but definitely Adriana. Okay.
Or I can hold the trigger, and then you hold in the button. That was there, yeah?
Hi, my name is Adriana. I've been having these problems with the housing since July last year. They make me intentionally homeless, and I've been through a lot. They put me through a lot, but at the end, I think I win my battle. I win my battle. This is my last week in temporary accommodation, and to show if you can still fighting, you're fighting for your rights, you're fighting for what you believe, what is right, and you win your battle, and that's it. I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've got two very brave families here today. Let's hear it for Adriana and Yasmin, and for the Counihan family as well. And I guess the message is, we will stay, we will fight. Housing is a human right. We will stay, we will fight. We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight. We will stay, we will fight. So Adriana's message shows that if you're prepared to take a stand, and if you're prepared to campaign and to organise against these cruel evictions of families, they were given a letter to say that they would have to be out of their property and there'd be nowhere for them to go. But Adriana will refuse to accept that, and she had a little bit of support from the campaign. Unfortunately now, that has meant that Harrow have been pushed into helping Adriana and Yasmin, and they've got some decent accommodation in a place where Yasmin's going to be near to a school, so that's really good news. But what it shows is in Harrow we've got a Tory council that's evicting people, in Brent we've got a Labour council that's evicting people, and we've got a government here in Downing Street that's evicting people, and it's not about saving money, it's about forcing working class people to pay for the crisis, forcing us to accept poorer housing, lower wages, forcing people out onto the streets. I'd like to call on Clarence from the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group, who's going to speak about Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group, who've been a great supporter of ours, and also he's going to speak about Nigel Firmingen. Did I catch you unawares there, Clarence? Sorry about that, comrade. So Clarence is going to say a word on behalf of the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group.
Hold the triggers there, yeah, and then close to you.
Hi, I'm Clarence from the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group. We're glad to be supporters of the Counihan Sanchez housing campaign, and anyone else that may be evicted or may have any sort of problems, except if you're rich. The only eviction that I'm interested in is the eviction of David Cameron from number 10. He seems to have quite a few spare bedrooms there. Why doesn't he get evicted now? And his mate, George Osborne. At the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group, we say to George Osborne, increase benefits. He's going to have a heart attack. How are we going to live if we're having all these cuts to our benefits? How are we going to pay the rent if we have all these cuts to benefits? Is it because you don't want us to and you do want to evict us, it seems to be what's on course for us? You just don't care. I've not even had a letter about, say, the community charge, so I'm going to be getting it. I'm in arrears now without knowing it. Don't tell anyone. As Nigel Furmager was a member of the Kilburn Unemployed Workers Group, the first time that we met him outside Kilburn Job Centre, he started leafleting because he was against what Kilburn Job Centre were doing. He'd been sanctioned because he had honestly declared that he was doing a bit of work, and honestly it wasn't the best policy. They started taking money out of his benefit, so it wasn't worth it. He had to give up that job. He really wanted to work. He got a job building social housing, believe it or not, down in Kilburn, next to where he was living. But after 3 months, he still hadn't been paid by his employers. He then turned to these payday loan companies for money. Something happened to him. I don't know if it was at work. He injured his head. He had to give up work. And for some reason, he didn't go on the sick. He went back on JSA. He hadn't paid his housing benefit, his rent, and Genesis Housing evicted him. On the day of his eviction, he went back into his house and he was found dead the next day. The next day, he was supposed to be at Kilburn Job Centre at 10 o'clock at some group session where they bring it in as a ruse because they know that a certain amount of people won't turn up and then they will sanction you.
Which is good.
This week, as it was a year gone, we went outside and did a minute silence outside the Kilburn Job Centre to let them know we hadn't forgotten Nigel Furmager. We went to his inquest and our leaflet has been looked at by the coroner, and on the 10th of July we asked people to come down to Barnet Coroner's Court to make sure that we get a fair verdict for Nigel. The verdict that we're looking for is he was dead due to his employers, his doctor, the hospital, Kilburn Job Centre and Genesis Housing Association. We want these corporations to feel the blame of what happened, and if this can be proved for Nigel, then it might stop them evicting people in the future. Remember, Nigel's case is even before all these rotten ideas have started being implemented. So it's going to be happening. You could have thousands of Nigel Furmagers happening all over the country, but we don't want that happening. I myself, if I hear that someone's going to be evicted, I'm going to stand outside if I can. I can hardly stand, but I'm going to still go there. If they try to evict my neighbour, I'm going to try to make sure that they don't. These are rotten laws that don't deserve any respect at all. We're into fairness, like the Counihans. All we want is common sense to prevail, not legalistic nonsense. So glad to see everybody here. I say, fuck the bedroom tax.
Sorry, who is it? Yeah.
So it's nice to see some familiar friends and comrades, and Artie is from the Unite Housing branch. Short-term memory loss on my part. But Artie has also supported our protest when we went to the Mayor's office to call for fair housing for young people here in London. So I'd like to hand over to Artie, who's just going to give us a message of solidarity.
Press that and press the trigger as well. Well, I'll hold that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting us speak. Just a message of support to everybody who's involved in the campaign. It's an absolute disgrace what's happened. It's an absolute disgrace. The more I've heard about it, the more I've seen and come to the protest. So I just wanted to pass on a message of support to all of you. Some of the things that have gone on before these new welfare cuts were bad enough as they were, and this is an example of some of that that's already happened. The bureaucracy that's involved and the consequences of putting people under a huge amount of insecurity, fear, etc., which makes it almost impossible to live. Our housing workers branch covers housing associations and hostels across London, including St Mungo's, Peabody, etc. So we're trying to build our reps' knowledge and experience, both in terms of what's going on industrially, but also what are the consequences of these cuts, and we will hopefully be in a better position to support our, the wider community and our members, because many of our members, like as is the case with PCS, are on benefits themselves. I'm a temporary worker, but I'm also on working tax credit, so the bedroom tax does actually affect me personally too. So there are consequences for workers, non-workers that are going on, even if this government is attempting to try to divide us and say that those who deserve and there's those who don't deserve. This week there was a disgraceful announcement that the Queen was getting a £5 million pay rise. A £5 million pay rise. They're saying there's not enough money for welfare. They're saying there's not enough money for housing. They're saying there's not enough money for the health service. But £5 million was given to her, plus billions of unpaid corporation tax. If all of those things were properly collected and people could be properly paid, so they could live in the areas they wish to, and they could, you know, continue the kind of lives that they need to or wish to, this would be a very different situation. So this kind of rubbish about the need for austerity is absolute rubbish. It's a lie, and it's an attempt to divide us, and there are alternative ways of funding the welfare, funding our lives and funding housing. Our branch policy is about to cap rent, not to cap benefits, and that would make a huge difference in London, where some of the rents have been going up to thousands and thousands of pounds. And the welfare tax bill would go down from that, so that would be just another way, if we were looking just very crudely at that, to change things. So there are a number of things we do support. Thank you for letting us speak. Our branch also supports the call for a general strike, and this might seem a small jump from talking about this and the welfare cuts, but the cuts are so huge. The pay cuts that are going on for our members, we have got 2 workplaces we're seeing up to 25% pay cuts, which will mean housing workers in the homeless sector, plus members who are working in drugs and alcohol rehabilitation centres, are going to see pay cuts which will put them further into poverty, and some of them will be losing their homes as well. It's just absolute madness, and that will cost everybody more, plus put more of us in insecure situations, which is absolutely unnecessary, when this country and this world overall could afford to support all of us, or we could support ourselves better and live a very different life that exists already. Just keep us posted, and we'll try and support this campaign as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that message of support from Artie in the Unite Housing Workers branch and Southwark Save Our Services. So our message here today is this new bedroom tax is a cruel attack on poorer working people and on people who are on benefits. It's not about saving money, it's about getting working class people to accept poorer housing and lower wages. And it's an attack on all working class people. And so we need to get organised, as Artie was saying. If there are any other organisations who'd like to give a message of support, please do come up and give us a message. Failing that, we'll have a few more chants. So our message is to Downing Street and all the politicians in this country that we refuse to accept their attacks on poor people and the bedroom tax. So what we're saying is Can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay. Can't pay, won't pay.
Ask the bedroom tax.
Can't pay, won't pay. 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 And we're also saying that everyone here and everyone has a right to housing, so it's good to hear from Adriana earlier on. I think she's doing an interview with the TV now, so she's getting an extra bit of publicity there. And also for the Counihans, but for everyone, for all the hundreds and thousands of people who are going to be forced into poverty and forced into homelessness by the benefit cuts and by the bedroom tax, and we're not going to accept it. So what we say is, we will stay, we will fight, housing is a human right. We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight.
Housing is a human right.
We will stay, we will fight. We will stay, we will fight. Right, and we don't accept their democracy, which is all the parties in this country attacking the poor to pay for the capitalist crisis. So what we're saying is our protest in support of homeless people and against evictions, that's what democracy looks like. So what we're saying is, this is what democracy looks like. Oh, sorry, wrong way around. What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like? What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
What does democracy look like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Yeah, so we want to get organised against these attacks on working class people, on low income, and on people on benefits. And what we say is that all the political parties are participating in these attacks. Conservative and Liberal have brought in the bedroom tax, but the Labour Party has said that they will retain it if they're elected. So we don't have any faith in them, and we need to put pressure on Labour councils and the Labour Party not to evict people who fall into arrears from this bedroom tax. So what we're saying is, Labour, Tory, all the same, they all play the bankers' game. Thank you. Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all pay the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all play the bankers' game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
Banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all play the banksters game.
Labour, Tory, all the same.
They all play the bankers' game.
Yeah, can we, just for a change, sing our song about the Counihan family, which is saying that you can't kick this family out of Brent.
That's a great hat.
But we can also add that they can't kick...
Hi guys, problem is that I only found out about this demo actually about a couple of hours ago. There wasn't much publicity about it, unfortunately, and personally, if I'm going to do a demo, I wouldn't actually do it outside opposite Whitehall on a Saturday. It's there's nobody here, so I would have preferred it to be somewhere more, probably off the street.
Otherwise I'm going to look a bit of a mug in the middle of Whitehall here, but I don't really care. So, here we go. After three. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can't kick this family out of Brent. No, you can't. No, you can't kick this family out of Brent.
No, you can't.
All the children have grown up here. They have built their roots here. You can't kick this family out of Brent.
No, you can't.
Glenda told the Counihans go to Wales. Glenda told the Counihans go to Wales. All the children have grown up here. They have built their roots here. You can't kick this family out of Brent. Oh, you can't kick this family out of Harrow. No, you can't kick this family out of Harrow. Oh, Yasmin has grown up here. She has built her roots here. You can't kick this family out of Harrow. Oh, you can't kick this family out of Brent.
No, you can't.
No, you can't kick this family out of Brent. All the children have grown up here. They have built their roots here. You can't kick this family out of Brent.
No, you can't.
Glenda told the Counihans go to Wales. Glenda told the Counihans go to Wales.
Shame on her.
If you can't afford to live here, you've no right to be here. Glenda told the Counihans go to Wales.
No, you can't.
So I'm very pleased to see Herbert has arrived. So Herbert spoke last week. There was a demonstration last week, about 500 people protesting against the bedroom tax. Quite a good demonstration, but we need a lot more. So please leave your names. Saskia is in a red coat there, and she's got a petition board with contact details on, so please speak to Saskia and leave your name. So if any other organisation would like to give a message on the microphone, please let me know.
Okay. Well,
yes, yes, go on.
Hi.
Do you want me to film while you're...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes. What's your name?
Obi.
Obi, hi Obi. Yeah, I met you last week.
Yeah, exactly. Not sure. This way, isn't it?
Yeah, you hold the trigger there, and then there's a button on the side. Yeah, and you hold that close to your mouth.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Just want to point out that I'm actually live streaming this thing for Occupy News Network. I'm part of Occupy London. And people are actually saying that why such a poor turnout? I would say the same thing, but every little helps. Remember this? Somebody, her name is Emma. She's from the Indignados of Spain. She pointed out she felt the same way before May 2011. Then May 15, 2011, the whole country sort of exploded, and then now you have 50,000 people marching almost every day against the cuts that are happening to them. The Troika, which is British government, German banks, well, basically German banksters, British banksters trying to actually get money from Spain, from Germany, from Portugal, from Ireland, from everybody. Why is it that, well, it is a bank crisis. The banksters gamble with the taxpayer money, and then it's basically like this. It's like you getting mugged by somebody, and then they follow you home and say, okay, give me more money, or I'll burn the house down. Basically, that's what the banksters did to everybody in the world, really. So that's one thing actually we need to do. George Osborne pointed out that because the 50p tax only raised £1 billion, he decided to abolish it. And then he came up with the bedroom tax, which will raise £453 million. So you have to wonder about the logic.
Yeah.
My friends are from the Squash Network, the old squatters in London. There are 400,000 commercial buildings that are empty at the moment. These buildings, they only pay something like £1 business rates because they are empty. So you have to actually wonder, they're actually more profitable empty than they are actually if they had people in them paying rates and paying rent. That's the reason why you end up with why it's so expensive in London. The same way that there are 1 million houses that are actually empty in Britain. There are 100,000 of them actually in London. Again, it is more profitable to keep them empty by people who own them, because the house prices keep going up by so much. It's actually much better for them to actually keep them empty, and then at the end of it, they sell them off. They don't even have to pay capital gains tax. So just a few things that I wanted to point out. Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Obi.
Thanks. Oh, that wasn't too bad.
Viva Obi. Viva Occupy, Viva the Squash Network. I forget all the groups you mentioned, but yeah, really good message. Thank you very much, Obi. We're coming up to 2 o'clock now, so I think we're going to wind up quite soon. But if we've got other people who want to give a message about their opposition to the bedroom tax, about the attacks on the poor, please come up and speak here on the megaphone. It's very important that we get the message across that we're not going to stand for these attacks on the working class and on the poor, and that we're not going to pay for their crisis. So if you agree, please leave your details with Saskia, and perhaps we can organise future protests. It's obvious that we need a lot more
in future. And as more and more people are affected, more people are going to be joining us on protest. The poll tax campaign started off very small, and then it grew to a massive protest that forced the government to back down. And that's what we need with the bedroom tax protest and the benefit caps protest. So if there's anyone else who would like to say a word on the megaphone, I've got Comrade Paul here from the Counihan campaign, from the International Luxembourgist Network, and from the Swan Network as well. He's a busy man, but we're glad to see him here. And he was here on the protest last Saturday. I think he was the last one who stood in front of the police lines and refused to leave. And that's an example of Paul's courage and one of the reasons why we're very glad to have him here. And so could we give a welcome to Paul and just hand over to Paul.
Thank you, comrades. I'll be very brief. I just want to talk about SWAN, Social Work Action Network, National Conference next weekend, South Bank University, Friday the 12th and 13th. This is a network of social work practitioners, academics, students, campaigners and service users. Next week's conference is very much focused on how we fight back, what we do about it. The line between the professionals and those who are recipients of welfare state service has never been thinner. It's never been more important to unite and fight back, which is why I'm here today. I want to end with a piece of bitter irony. In a week where idiot, dumb scrounger, the minister responsible for this disgusting nonsense, has been challenged to live on £53 a week, ducking and diving as he always does. Meanwhile, on Sunday in Newcastle, a young filmmaker set out to make a documentary about the bedroom tax and living on the street. 2 days ago, he was found dead, locked in an unused building, having died of hypothermia. I think the courage of Lee Halpin is very important and very impressive. We should always remember our dead, always remember Lee Halpin, forget IDS, forget his class, forget his policies. Good riddance, onto the rubbish pile of history with a bloody lot of them.
Can't pay, won't pay. I think Obi wants to say a quick word.
Okay. Hi, sorry, I forgot to mention. Lee Halpin is actually a filmmaker. He was actually from well, he's not homeless. He was a filmmaker. But the problem is this. This is back on February 28th. A 35-year-old named Daniel Conflict. This was actually pointed out in Kent in a local paper. He died. Back in September, the squatting laws were changed. That means if you're squatting in a residential building, even though it's empty, it is actually a criminal offense. He was found outside an abandoned bungalow because a few weeks before the police had actually stopped him. Somebody called. He actually had broken into this abandoned bungalow. It's been abandoned for about 10 years. So he decided to actually just live outside the empty home. And they found him. He had also died of hypothermia. So the guy was only 35 years old. Unfortunately, the mainstream media didn't actually point this out. I think that's actually, that is what they want to point out. I mean, they want to die. Ian Duncan Smith said he can live on £53 a week. 400,000 people have signed a petition for him to live on £53 a week for a whole year. He's saying it's actually just a media stunt. So that means actually people voting he is calling it a media stunt. It's just ridiculous. And the Daily Mail points out that you can live on £53 a week. All you have to do is actually dive into skips for food, look for in the pavements for spare change, and apparently there's loads of free buffets you can go to in order to actually eat, and you'll be able to live with £53 a week. Thanks.
Thank you, Obi. So what we're saying quite clear is, can't pay, won't pay, axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay. Axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay. Axe the bedroom tax. Can't pay, won't pay. Axe the bedroom tax.
I'd like to mention that we've got a very good film. If you look up Housing for All, with the letter 4, there's a video of the Counihan campaign. If you want to find out more about the Counihan campaign, Sandra and Vasilis have made a brilliant film. If anyone's interested in showing it in their organisation, please let us know. But it was shown for the first time at the anti-bedroom tax meeting in Kilburn. And I'd like Sandra to just give a brief message about the film, but I'd encourage everyone to have a look on YouTube for Housing for All, Counihan Family.
Hold that.
Okay, Sandra with a nice hat.
I've done a film with a friend of mine about the family, the Counihan family, and it's not only about the Counihan family. I try to get as much figures as possible to make people realize that actually the statistics show that most people can't afford housing in London, and it's not only people that actually are on bedroom tax, but also the people on housing benefits. Even in work can't afford housing in London. So I just want to make people aware of what's happening, and if we can get that video spread across, then many other people will be aware of, what this family is going through and what we can do together as a campaign, as a group of people. So the video can be found on the Housing for All, number 4.
Okay, Housing for number 4 all.
Housing for All spread.
Okay, I'll be posting that on Twitter as well later on. Thank you. You can watch it if you can find it. That'd be great. It's on YouTube. Housing number 4 all. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Why are we here? Why are we here?
For housing.
We are supporting the Counihan family. Everybody knows about the bedroom tax. What are we going to do about it?
Not pay it.
What are we going to do about it?
Not pay it.
Make something up. Say what you want. What are we going to do about the bedroom tax?
Fight it.
What are we going to do to help this family get some justice? The Counihan family.
Protest.
Against the council.
That's why we're here. We are the, how should I put it? We are the ones, the start, that will get this ball rolling. All it